I'm waving. Hello, viewers. Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Demon Plague. I am your dungeon master, James Intricasto. I go by he, him. And I have a wonderful group of players with me, as always. Let's go around the table, meet them and the characters they are playing. And Lauren, let's start with you.
Oh, hi. I'm Lauren Urban, also known as Elbow Crazy. I am she, her. I play Rock the Era Cooker Rogue, who finally has hit points again. Yay!
Yay!
Yay! Kermit Wave!
And Robert, who are you and who are you playing?
I'm Robert Ducci, he, him. I'm playing Torsten Ailhand, who just took a level in Cleric. So I'm
Oh.
Cleric 2.
Whoa, nice. That's excellent. And TK, who are you and who are you playing?
Oh, I wasn't muted. Whoops. Sorry. I'm TK, they, them, and I checked to see that my phone was not muted before I went on, and it was, and I'm proud of myself, but my headphones weren't muted, so I burped into the mic. You're welcome.
Nice.
I'm playing Isabel Halfback. We're level 6. I just took a new feat, which is the heavily armored master feat. And it basically makes it so that I am Luke Cage.
Oh.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm essentially bulletproof now. As soon as I find the thing that tells me what I can do. Oh, increases my strength score by 1, and while I'm wearing heavy armor, which I'm not doing because we're in jail, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage I take from non-magical weapons is reduced by 3.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
I'm Superman.
And the person who will be editing out your burp later,
Well,
Rudy
we'll
Basso.
see. We'll see how tired I
You're
am.
welcome.
Leave it in. It'll be fun.
Hi, I'm Rudy
Now it's all about
Basso.
context.
Yeah, exactly. Burps will be all throughout the episode. I can do that. I'm an editor. I can put them wherever. I'm Rudy Basso. I'm he, him. I'm playing Rain Bowie, a human monk who has magical punches now. At level 6,
What?
my fists count as a magical weapon, so no more resistance from whites and the such. Now I will be hurting them very much.
Nice.
Very exciting, which means I am going to need that failure that Josh Long has just purchased for us. Yes, thank you
Scoundrel.
very much, Josh. I really appreciate it. If you are interested in giving successes or failures or health potions or having an NPC named after you, just look right above my head at the donations. Thank you very much for everyone who gives us a donation here. And to everybody who's just watching, thank you for watching. It's really awesome to have you here. And if we roll a natural 20 over the course of the game, we will be doing PDF giveaways for things the wonderful creators and me have created here on the show. So you'll want to be in the Don't Split the Podcast Network Twitch chat to make that happen, just in case. And I have a feeling some 20-sided dice will be rolled today. We will see. Now, quick recap. Last time, the heroes of Fort Frostfell, that's all 4 of our players here, are jailed. You are in the defunct windmill of Fire and Grind, a temporarily closed bakery/house. You're here being guarded by Rosalie Shortmania, and your cellmate is the one and only Grant Ellington, who you actually captured, part of a bandit gang. It seems the owner of the windmill, Flem Barrister, does not like having the guards and intrusions in his home. You stand accused of murder and accessories to murder, but good news, you've convinced the village council of Tomar's Crossing to bring in a third party to investigate rather than the corrupt village council. Bad news, the Order of the Last Bastion Knights, led by Sir Brenifam Steelcrest, are the third party, and they want to take over the town and is threatening to have you imprisoned if you don't aid in the Knights' coup. Meanwhile, Kadra Tourmaline came by and offered to help you in any way that she can. And then Clagda, Isabel's daughter-in-law, came to see you all while imprisoned and told you that Summit Skullcleaver is badly injured. That is a person running for town council who helped you out, and that Isperl, the town priest of Eldath, is dead, has been killed. So that is where we left things. It is the next morning, early the next morning, as you all are waking up. You hear the same thing you heard the day before when you woke up, which is Rosalie is there. She's arguing with Flem, the owner of the windmill that you are in again, and he makes her leave the room, and you hear some shuffling around in the other room, and then he calls her back in, and they exchange some words, and she says, "Why do you always have me leaving?" And Flem is like, I gotta make sure. I've got to make sure it's still there. And then he goes out. You can also hear outside a crowd gathering outside the windmill. Once again, yes, yeah, calling for you and calling about that you are wrongfully imprisoned. And they said that they're shouting that they went to see the Knights of the Last Bastion and went to go yell and protest there, but that the Knights pushed them away. And that Sir Breniform Steelcrest came out and talked to everyone and told them that a fair investigation was underway. And while they threw some like rocks and stuff at the Knights easily turned them aside and sort of had them all flee.
Did they actually attack the crowd or just kind of like push them with shields and stuff? The old shield push.
It sounds more like push them with shields, the old attack that's not really an attack going on. So it doesn't sound like anyone was seriously injured, but people did feel threatened and unsafe.
Well, if they threw rocks, I mean, come on. Rock is upset because she said go talk, and then they threw rocks.
Right. They threw them in honor of Rock.
I'm extra upset about that.
It was a way to send a message for sure.
Hey, does that mean that they threw very large birds? I'm named after a very large bird, and that's even more disturbing than an actual physical rock.
They threw frozen turkeys.
That's food. Right. They should not be throwing food.
But it was frozen food, so it's totally fine. So that is what was going on there. So that is you hear that outside, and there is sort of the crowd begins to gather and is starting to shout for you all to be freed. There are some particular shouts about Torsten and this being a political hit job on Torsten. And
a savvy crowd. I'm kind of impressed.
Well, a lot of this has to do with the what you all were doing when you were being arrested and the crowd that was gathered there, and the words you were saying as well seem to have taken hold with some of these people. So maybe it's a good thing you didn't necessarily go quietly.
Are they still calling the druid a werewolf?
Yes, Palmine is a werewolf.
Oh, 100%. Yes, there is.
Good.
That's what I want.
A definite. There's actually like a werewolf conspiracy, as far as you can tell, that the whole town council is werewolves now.
Oh my gosh!
And
yes.
the town is being run by.
I hope somebody like holds up their baby and is like, Palmine tried to change my baby into a werewolf.
It's believable.
Even if we die tomorrow, I want that to be our legacy in this campaign.
Nice.
You thought you were running the Demonplague, you're actually running werewolf.
It's just
sorry. Need to tell you.
100% werewolves. Oh, werewolf.
So while all that is going on, eventually you hear keys in the door, and Rosalie opens the door, and in walks Kadra Tourmaline. She looks exhausted. She comes in, she puts her pack down with a thunk on the ground, and then like slumps down next to it, resting with her back to the ground. And Rosalie then closes the door and locks it again. And Kadra says, I'm afraid I don't have much good news for you. I heard that you already know about Summith and Isperl. Summith is not doing any better. Priests of Eldath watched him overnight. He's still unconscious, and the acolytes there are not strong enough to heal him. It's bad with Isperl dead. Also, I know that quite the mob has gathered outside here, but Jalen has taken to the streets himself and is spreading lies about all of you, especially Torsten, saying that Torsten set fire to his own inn in an attempt to get sympathy. There are rumors and lies abound. I am doing what I can to combat it and bring out the truth, but I'm afraid I'm just one more screaming voice in the crowd.
And what happened to Summith again? What was he injured from?
So Summith, his home was robbed, and he was beaten up when it was robbed, and found unconscious and inside his home.
We all suspected that maybe they were looking for that locket.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been...
Which was given to Clyga, Isabel's daughter-in-law, who has fled with, she went into hiding as Isabel requested.
And how did Eldath? How did he
Isperl.
Isperl, sorry. How did he get...
Eldath is a deity.
Yeah.
So that it is thought that Isperl died of a heart attack.
Death note.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that is what is believed.
So okay, I'm trying to think. What do we want to do? Do we want to break out of jail? I don't really know what the next move is, honestly.
Yeah.
We seem cornered from a bunch of different angles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how we turn on. I don't know how we turn this all around and turn out awesome. So I say we just go fight that big guy that's running the Demonplague and forget this dumb town, which is very upsetting. But
I would totally be with you, but that still means we need to leave here, and that's a problem.
I'll punch this door down right now. It's no problem. I got magic hands.
I mean, as much as I want to leave, and I think we could, because you could get out of here, right, Rain, and then I could also get out of here.
Yeah.
But that still leaves the town with who knows what's happening. Yeah, they could, like, those knights could still kind of perform a coup while we're gone, which doesn't really help us either.
And how many of them are again, James? 20 of them in
24,
town?
I think they said.
24 knights.
Armed knights who have already repelled a crowd of commoners, with no problem.
Thorsten, do you think that you could heal Skullcleaver?
It depends what's wrong with him, but yes, likely. I mean,
because
if it's just damage, or if it's a little, I could do restoration possibly on him. What level is that?
Because with your friend dead, there's not many people who can do that kind of thing.
Nobody can. Yeah.
I mean, that is really all I am concerned about. Is if he is hurt, and you are the one who can fix that. We should try to at least get you out. Agreed.
Well, I mean, or just bring him here. I could also help him.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I'll look over at Cadre and see. Can you do that? Can he be brought here?
Might be able to do that. She gets a why didn't I think of that look on her face? And
because
says,
you are not a player character. You are that is fine.
And she says, yes, let me go do that right away. And she gets up and she gets to the door and knocks on it. And she says, I am concerned for your safety, so please be careful. And the door opens and she leaves.
When the door opens, Rock wants to wave at the crowd outside, like a congenial kind of.
So the door is actually being open on within the house that's connected to the windmill and bake shop.
Not the direct. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So she leaves and the door is shut. And you hear the familiar voice of Grant Ellington say, "Oh, it looks like she left her backpack. Oh, we better let her know. Excuse me."
Shut up, Grant Ellington. I push him.
Oh, yes.
Knock him out.
I'm just
Magic
trying
is-
to be a law-abiding citizen now.
Take a
I
nap,
don't want to
right?
live in a defunct windmill my whole life.
I assume she left it because she is coming back with Skullcleaver, right? Less to carry. He is a big man.
No, I go
Yes.
through it. I go through the bag.
So when you open up the bag, you find inside there are 4 daggers,
Jeez.
Wow, what an arsenal.
a wand.
Oh, okay.
There is a rolled up flail,
Oh, okay.
3 flasks of acid,
Wow.
Jeez.
and a set of thieves' tools.
Hey.
Sandra is loaded for bear. Holy crap.
So yeah, so that's what you find within that bag. And Kadra goes off.
Rock is going to stand there looking at all of this and go, if we take this and they find it on us, there will be nothing we can say.
Isabel looks at Rock and says, if they come into this prison cell and they see this backpack full of weapons, there's nothing we can say anyway. So we might as well take them.
But if it is still in the bag and Kadra is coming back, then we can at least say it was in the bag and we didn't touch it.
And then Kadra is in jail with us.
I think
Kadra can
I
carry
think
weapons.
Kadra left it for us on purpose to get.
Mm.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
but I am worried that that is not a good idea.
I don't.
Well, we'll see who she comes back with.
While you all are having this conversation, the key slides into the door again. You have about 5 seconds to decide what is
I
happening.
throw it
with
into
these
the
weapons.
corner. The
I'm
bag.
not.
Let's
Rock
put
is not.
Gorf over it.
Oh yeah, Gorf.
Okay,
I
yeah.
wanna
So
put that
you
Gorf.
you throw all this stuff into the corner, and then Gorf belly flops on top of it.
Yeah, and
Rug,
then-
animated rug that he is.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
assuming that he didn't pull it out of the bag. That like he opened
Yeah,
up
we'll
the bag
just-
and we're
Yeah,
like
look
standing
through it,
around
yeah.
looking
We'll just burrito it inside of Gorf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Gorf will get on top of and roll up then the backpack that has everything inside of it.
Much better.
And then just sort of rolls up in the corner like an old forgotten rug.
Yes, please.
Sitting there. As the door opens and everyone's favorite handsome hero, Sir Brenniform Steelcrest,
Oh.
strides in. This time with 2 knights behind him, 2 women. One is a hulking half-orc, a good almost 2 feet taller than Isabel, and the other is an elf. And they are standing there. They all have great swords strapped across their back, and Sir Brenniform signals to the knights hey, go, stand back by the door. And at that point, there is he pulls out a chair and he sits down on the chair.
Where does he pull the
And-
chair from?
There's been a chair that's been in the corner. There's
Yeah,
one chair.
Kadra, yeah. It's just-
Was everybody has been sitting on it and that sort of thing.
I like to think that Grant Ellington was sitting in the chair and he just tipped him out.
Oh.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Grant is sitting in the chair, comes over, lifts up the chair. Grant tumbles out and he sits down
Yeah.
on top of the chair
Awesome.
Mhm.
and looks at all of you and says, "So, have you thought about my offer anymore?"
Oh, crap.
I'm sorry,
What
I
are-
cannot hear you over the sound of the large crowd outside chanting our names.
Oh, I was saying,
Surprising amount of sass from Rock, and I'm into it.
have you decided to do the right thing or not?
Did we decide what we were gonna do? I don't
We haven't really
remember.
decided.
We didn't, and now we
So
have to
I will.
choose.
I don't remember
Torsten,
whether or not we decided if we were going to be blackmailed into this, but okay.
We were definitely gonna
No,
lie.
we were still thinking
Torsten-
about it, and then
regardless.
your daughter showed up, and that kind of took
Hmm.
precedence.
Oh yeah, yeah. Isabel does not say that. That was all TK, by the way.
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
don't write that down.
Torsten will look at everybody else and then look at the knight. and just say sort of like, we have decided to do the right thing in that while I don't agree with much or any of what the town council has done in many years, a coup is not the right thing. We just want you to do whatever you think you need to do. But be warned that if you do not have the town peoples, all of them, even those ones outside, all of the ones from somewhere else, in mind when you do whatever you're going to do, and I kind of motion to everyone here, I say, we will come for you. This is our town.
I suppose that's why you'll have to be the first criminals that are executed after I take over.
As I said, do what you think you need to do.
Well, it's a big day for all of us then. Turns around and he looks at his knights and they're nodding to each other. And he says, tonight, Tomar's Crossing will have new leaders. And tomorrow, you'll all be hanged. And he gets up and he starts making his way towards the door.
And as the door opens, Torsten will just kind of say, Eldath bless you, my son, for your honorable ways.
Aww.
There's a slight pause at the door. And you hear Sir Brenniform Steelcrest say, Eldath will forgive me for the greater good. And then he knocks on the door, and the door opens up, and all of the knights head out. As they come out, you hear them say, oh, Miss Tourmaline, sorry. And the door stays open then as Kadra comes in with the body of Summit Skullcleaver, who is breathing hard.
I do have a question. During Sir Breton, what's his name again?
Brenniform.
Okay. During his speech, did either of the knights on his sides show any sense of this is a bad idea, or were they just like steely-eyed the entire time?
They were mostly steely-eyed. You can make a insight check if you want.
I would love to.
Make one too.
Yeah.
Sure, anybody can.
I rolled a
Yeah.
I love rolling dice, so this one's
Insight is one of my skills, although not with that.
Oh no. No, that's cool. It's a nat 1, so I don't know what. I think that Isabel was distracted by like how proud she was of Torsten's pettiness. With that. She was just like, oh, that was a good one. She's just like, yes, pettiness. I'm here.
Rock rolled a 26.
Okay, there we go.
Rock, they seem like they're all in for this plan, that they would follow this man into the 9 hells themselves.
Yes, I kind of figured if he was just being evil in front of them, they were okay with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus
She
the
doesn't
numbers
actually
are in
say
there,
that out loud, but that's like, yeah. That's basically what Rock was thinking. Like, if he's just going to talk about his evil plans in front of these two, then they must be in on it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He hand selected them, so.
And also, they did not seem surprised that this was not the first time they were hearing about the evil plan.
Yeah.
Can't believe we couldn't get like a plucky farm boy or something that's just like, oh man, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
Gee.
There might be one amongst the 2
Yeah,
dozen, but
yeah.
he was smart enough to not bring those 2 in with him.
Let's
So
do it. Let's manipulate them to our
to
side.
be a member of the Last Bastion, do they make vows like to uphold justice, to have to be truthful and have honor and things like that?
They make vows. Most knights do. What you know of their vows, because their vows are pretty public, right? So it's not something you would need to make a check for or anything like that. Their vows involve protecting the people of the Luna Valley. Their vows involve making sure that tyranny and corruption is rooted out and destroyed. And their vows involve like pledging yourself to the higher members of the order to listen to them as long as they are carrying out the mission of the Order of the Last Master.
So nothing about telling the
Crown.
truth
Yeah.
or doing,
The greater good.
Yeah.
Right. It's one of those things that it's like, oh, on its surface, it's very broad and it all seems very good, but could be interpreted one way or the other.
Lawful neutral.
All the hey. All the best vows are. Actually, you know what? I was like, oh, that actually kind of makes like maybe Isabel's kind of like, I guess we could kill everyone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That seems reasonable. The
Anyway.
plan is evil, but I'm not.
So she brings in Summith. Can I get a look at him?
Yes. So Summith is brought in and placed on the ground, and Rosalie is actually looking on in the doorway. She has her spear, and she says, "Oh, I don't know about this, ma'am. I'm not sure." And Kadra turns back and raises a hand, and Rosalie is quieted but still standing there in the doorway, looking.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna ask, did Kadra bring Skullcleaver herself, or was there like 2 or 3 people with a litter? He's a big guy and she's not.
Yeah, what's interesting is that is definitely true. And she is carrying him, and her muscles are bulging as she carries him in and places him on the ground. And then her muscles sort of shrink back down to their normal Kadra size. When
she's not afraid to show off her magic now, I guess.
Yeah. Isabel's like gently nudging Rain in the ribs, like, hey.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, I guess.
It's like she's okay. I mean, does she have a 12-pack?
Right, yeah.
So I will take a look at Summith.
Okay. You take a look at
Summith.
Summith. He is breathing. It is shallow, and he is bruised all over his face and head. There's swollen eyes, and there is like blood dripping from his temples, and his lip is all busted up and that sort of thing. It looks like he's been beat around the face head region quite soundly. And that, appears to be where most of the trauma is. It does look like maybe he took a few body shots as well with some sort of large bludgeoning weapon.
All right. So I will, pray, since they let me keep my holy symbol and stuff, I will pray to Eldath and try to give him some healing.
Okay, great. What spell are you going to cast?
Just Cure Wounds.
Sure. Okay, so you cast Cure Wounds. Your magic passes through you into the body of Summith, and you see the marks on his face start to go down. His breathing becomes more regulated, and his eyes pop open. And he is looking into your face and says, "Torsten? Is this still a dream?" And then he looks up and sees Isabel and says, "Must be a dream still."
You dream about Torsten?
And you.
Isabel jokes, but she's like clearly concerned like about his well-being, not about whether or not he dreams about Torsten. You like what you like, so.
He gives a weak chuckle at that. And he says, "Always so funny, Isabel." Oh. And he lays back down, and Rosalie says, "All right, I think that's enough. I think you can bring him out now."
How injured does he still look? Like, should I?
He's definitely still got some wounds about him, but he looks stable now. So you could heal him again, and he would certainly benefit from it if you wanted to.
Yeah, let me give him a second level spell, Cure Wounds, because we might need him later.
Nice.
Utilitarian, I like it.
Also, if someone was trying to like kill this guy, letting him be healed enough to be able to defend himself might be a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Definitely.
defend us. Oh, I mean,
So once I heal him again and he seems to be doing better, I say, what happened? Tell us who did this. What were the results?
I was in my.
Like as he asks this, so the door is open and Rosalie's looking on, but also Sir Steelcrest and his two evil people.
They've
right?
left. They
walked away.
Yeah, they've walked away.
Okay, but the door is kind of ajar, and there's other people outside listening to this.
So Rosalie is there. It doesn't look like there's anybody else in that room other than her at the moment.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, Rock was going to interpose at that very moment if there were other things going on, but if not,
Well, that's Rosalie says. I think that's enough. And Kadra looks at her and says, "I wanted them to save Summith, but if he's got information that can help with the trial," and then she sort of looks at the rest of you pleadingly to jump in here.
And I look at Rosalie and I say, we've known each other our entire lives, Rosalie. I say, I don't know if you heard what Steelcrest has planned, but things are going to get very messy very quickly in this town. They're going to attempt a coup.
Also, I'll give you 50 gold to be quiet.
we don't have any gold.
she probably has like low charisma if you had to do
Also-
a persuasion checks.
Rock
Just a
will-
bonus.
Rock will hear that and look at Rain and go, "No, we want her to tell we don't want her to be quiet. She should tell everybody about what's going on." And she'll look at Rosalie and be like, "Right? Like this is not."
I
should
think
not
that
be
puts
secret."
her in a lot of danger.
Isn't she in danger
We are
anyway?
all exactly. We are all in danger. They're going to kill everybody. They're going to slaughter people and take over a town.
They're gonna
Why
kill They just want to kill the village elders, to my understanding,
And us.
Council, yeah.
and us.
And-
yeah,
and
but
anybody that opposes them,
And anybody who might have overheard their conversations with us.
and anybody that they feel like.
Rosalie looks at all of you and says, "Okay, I get the point. You can keep your gold.
Yes.
I'm glad for what you did at Fort Frostfell. They had stolen some of my friends that lived in Safe Harbor, and you freed them. So
Well, now we are worried about these Bastion Knights like killing everybody. So this is even bigger than that.
she looks at you, and Kadra and Summith both nod to her, and she says, "Okay, you've got 10 minutes," and she closes the door.
Yes.
So we look at Summit.
Okay. He says, "So I was alone in my house. I was just sitting down to some stew I had made, and that is when the door was kicked in and several masked thugs came in. They had maces, and they beat me about. They were asking where the locket was." He turns and looks at Isabel and says, "I did not tell them that I had already given it to Claga. It is safe with her. I hope she is okay. She's okay, right?"
I didn't know you cooked.
And he says, "Oh, it's just an old rabbit stew. Nothing fancy, you know."
Well, you'll have to share it with me sometime. Me and Claga.
Yeah.
She's right.
Oh, good. Thank goodness.
You told them to get out of town, didn't you? Claudia?
No.
No?
No, she went. Okay, Rock's not going to say this out loud, but we did hear her tell them to go to the refugees that are hiding out in, well, not
Oh, yeah.
hiding, but living in my
Right.
tent because they would
Mhm.
protect
They
her.
would
And there's
hide.
a lot of them. Even
Yeah.
if some of them went to Fort Kickass, there's still a
Yeah.
lot of them.
Exactly.
Basically, pack up and go to what's his name, and
Graybeard or
have
something,
him
yeah.
place them somewhere.
And Summith says, "Oh, I'm so glad they're all fine. They just continued to hit me and harm me, and they wanted to know very much about that locket. I don't know what that thing is or what it's all about, but if me telling people this can help get you out of here, let me know, and I will share the story."
Do you know who it was? Do you know who these people were?
They were wearing masks, and I'm ashamed to admit they caught me by surprise. I wasn't able to get any of them off, but they were clearly comfortable with what they were wielding, and they were all humans or elves, so it seemed.
Were they locals? Or people you like? I mean, there's only 150 people that used to live here. You know, you didn't recognize their voices or anything. You think they were from somewhere else?
I didn't. I do think they might be from another place. And Kadra says, well, Bajalin had people everywhere. He knew when we went to Safe Harbor. He knew when we went to Sweetwater. He must have spies in the refugee camps as well, if he had spies in those places.
Did you get any good hits in? Something we could like...
Oh, yeah. No, I understand.
Well, yeah, something that's... Because if...
Like a mark on their bodies or faces, yeah.
Yeah, there's not really any other healers in town besides Torsten, and Torsten wouldn't have healed them, so they might be still hurt.
When the first one came at me, I dodged a punch, and I threw up my bowl of stew, and his entire hand was immersed in the steaming contents of my delicious dinner.
Oh my goodness.
It is possible that this individual's hand is still burned and pink.
Left hand.
Ruined with my stew.
You were going to eat that? That's so hot. Oh my goodness. Like temperature hot.
Yes, it was very temperature hot, but that's how I like my stew.
That's
warms me up.
That's not healthy.
Was it left hand or right hand?
Left hand. His right was wielding the mace.
Gotcha.
Or her. I'm not sure.
Okay, so we're looking for a burned up left hand. Okay.
Yes.
Man, I'm hungry.
It's been a while since we had those salted meats.
Sorry, I meant to mute that.
So there is this exchange happening. Does anybody want to ask anything else?
I mean, he's been kind of knocked out, right? So I don't know what else he knows.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess just ask him. Yeah, have you heard anything else in town since we've been locked up?
I have not. I just know that there was some hubbub, and I know that Bajalin and Palmine were mad, but they stayed away from me once we had sorted out how the matter would go. So I know that they had decided on Sir Brenifum Steelcrest from the Order of the Last Bastion Knights. Seems like an honorable fellow, I suppose, to sort out your case. Hopefully that's going well.
Except for the violence.
I guess we will, at that point, spill the beans about that situation.
When you're done, like, giving the TLDR on that, Rock will say, so if they brought in the Last Bastion Knights, and now the Last Bastion Knights wants to kill them and coup, if they know that is going to happen, and we have proof that Bajalin has, this locket thing that he obviously wants back, can we work the two of them against each other? Or is the enemy of our more armored enemy our friend?
I think so. I think Bajalin, and the town council is probably, although I don't know how much they can really help us. I don't know how much of a fight it's going to be against 24 armored knights.
But this is not against, a few people on the council. This is whoever we back will then get the backing of most of the town, which is hundreds. And if we put the council back together and they are backed by the town, I would find it hard to believe even the knights would decide to slaughter everybody.
Yeah. I mean, the council is filled with people we don't like, though. So why can't we just go to, what's the guy's name? I'm so bad with names. The gentleman who's kind of leader of the refugees, who used to be in Forest Frostfell.
Oh, Hubert Greyborn.
Yeah, I think going to him would be better than going to Bajalin, who probably wouldn't mind if we got killed trying to fight the knights, or Palmine, who doesn't like us at all now.
Yeah, that's true.
But if they know that the knights will want to kill them,
maybe Kadra or Sumith can go. Someone else, not us. The thing is, like, it'll still be our word, and we're not their favorite people. But it can't hurt to just send them and be like, hey, just lie and say that you heard them talking about it or something.
well, we can also assume that Bajalen knows we have or know where this locket is that is incriminating evidence of him doing nasty things.
Oh, so you want to blackmail him?
No, I want to let him know. Put, how does the saying go? All the cards on the ground for everyone to see.
The table.
Oh, I've only ever played on the ground. I don't know tables. So yes, let them know. Let them know we know all of this, and it is in their self-interest to back off of us and unite the town. But Jalen is asshole, and Palmine is werewolf, but they at least seem to want what is best for town. And I don't
know. I feel like Bajalen cares about Bajalen. You know what I mean? I think.
Yes, but
they've been acting in self-interest for a while.
Yeah.
True, but they haven't actually said, let's just kill everybody. The knights kind of have.
No, they haven't. The knights don't want to kill
They
everybody.
Kill the council.
Yeah,
this is just a locket, right? They were going to kill somebody over a locket?
The Bajalen's people? If that's who did it?
If it were Bajalen's or Palmine's people, they're going to kill one person over a locket?
I mean,
a locket that no longer has a painting in it?
They don't know. Well, so Palmine would know that, but would Palmine tell Bajalen? And maybe the painting is not the important part, or maybe it's just enough, or maybe Bajalen.
But is it worth torturing Somath over?
I don't know. Is there some other aspect of that we didn't find?
I don't know. Somath had it for a little while.
Yeah. Did you notice anything particularly strange about the locket that maybe we overlooked, or?
Because if it's just a locket, I don't know if I want to trust people who would kill someone over a locket to be in charge of town. Now, if it's not, I'd be more inclined, but it's weird.
I didn't notice anything about it other than it was a locket. I didn't even open it, honestly. I wanted to know as little about it as possible, so that should a situation arise wherein I was tortured, I wouldn't be able to give up information.
I think it'd be best for them to be pitted against each other without knowing we are at all involved. So maybe Kadra can go to them and say Rosalie overheard this discussion between us and him, and then we.
Did she?
Well, did she? I don't think she did, right?
Kadra says, I could say, while I was waiting to talk to you, I overheard the discussion, so we don't.
Yes,
oh, okay.
That sounds
then
better.
That's better, yeah.
Endangering Rosalie.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should. I'm just afraid that Bajalen will not listen because we're involved, or I don't know.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how he's going to react with Kadra either. We don't really know.
True.
I guess ask her what is your relationship with him and the rest of the council right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good. I can tell you that my own relationship is not good with them, but it's because I can finally break rank and vote against Bajalen. I thought I would have an ally in Palmine on this, but I am afraid that given the recent findings and everything that has occurred, that we will not be...
She's a werewolf. Yeah.
Yes, seeing eye to eye. She is not a werewolf, she's a druid.
Well, the threat of the armored knights killing entire council should help.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes.
I mean, we are trying to protect you, but as far as the Bastion Knights are concerned, they're going to kill all of you on council. So this isn't just about them. This is about you. You are not lying if you tell them that you are in danger as well.
He said that it was going to happen tonight, and then they were going to kill us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we were...
This is awesome.
Bring out some cards on table.
Yeah, they were going to die today. I was like, oh.
Well, let me go see Bajalen then, and let me do this. In the meantime, Sumith, And he looks at all of you. I guess I'll stay here.
Maybe go talk to the what's his name again? The
Oh,
leader of
yeah.
the refugees.
Hubert.
Hubert Greyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
That's a good idea.
No, don't stay here. We only have 5 buckets.
Oh no, I meant out there, and he points to the
Oh.
door that leads to the
Oh.
room.
Rub it in our
But-
face, buddy.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. Let me talk to Huberg and the rest of the refugee camps and see what support I can muster. If that all sounds good, they'll be on their way then, and they leave. A few hours go by. Does anyone want to do anything in that time while that is happening?
The pack still with Gorf? Is that still?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the pack is still
We
with
did
Gore.
it.
So
Grant Ellington.
Oh, no, Rock as soon as they're starting to leave.
Mhm.
Rock is
No,
gonna.
what are you doing?
I can't. No, because she's gonna do it. I can't help it.
Okay.
Lauren,
Lauren doesn't want to do it,
you're
but
not
Rock
even
is.
trying.
I
What?
have to. Rock is
Okay,
gonna look
do
at Kadra as they're leaving and say, "You left your pack here."
And she'll say, "I don't know what you're talking about," and then she knocks on the door.
Oh.
No.
I mean, we're already going to be executed. I don't think being caught with knives is going to make anything.
I would rather be executed tomorrow than today.
Rock is gonna look at all of her friends, and her feathers are gonna puff, and she's gonna look very upset, and then she's gonna walk to the corner of the
Oh,
room.
thank goodness.
There's a round room. So she's just gonna basically walk over next to Grant Ellington and just stand there, muttering under her breath in Orin.
Grant says, "What a delightful language that is. Sounds so musical." I know a poem in Orin, and he recites this poem that is in Aquan and terribly done.
Okay.
He gives you that, and they exit the room. A few hours go by, and the key goes into the lock again. You hear a disturbance. The crowd is screaming and booing and casting curses at whoever is walking in. They walk into the house section of the windmill. The key
As soon
goes.
as that starts, Rock's gonna fly up to that window she can stick her head out of. She wants to know what the hell is going on. Just
Okay, sure. So you stick your head out the window, and you see Bajalin making his way through the crowd with an escort of several people, including Ilaria Walrus, who is there, and they're pushing their way through the crowd to make way for Bajalin. He comes in, the key goes in the lock, and Bajalin walks into your cell by himself. His retinue is left outside the cell door. And he comes in and he stands at the doorway. The door closes behind him and locks. And he looks at all of you and says, "Kadra had some very interesting news for me about all of this.
Oh.
What in the 9 hells is going on with these knights?"
I don't know.
they
you're the one
want
who
to take
hired them.
over. Oh, sorry. Rock is still like up on her perch, and so she goes to talk, and then like shuts up.
Sorry, Isabel is very miffed with this man who would beat the everything out of her boyfriend over a stupid locket, over a stupid piece of Kay's jewelry.
She looks at I'm sorry. He looks at Torsten and says, "You know what your problem is, Torsten? You don't know how to lie. So why don't you tell me what you know about the knights?"
I just tell him exactly what he's told us, what the knights told us, what they
Okay.
wanted.
And he
I say
nods.
as much, as many problems as we have with each other, this is still our town.
It is. And as much as I hate to admit it, think I need your help. And he looks at all of you, including Grant Ellington.
How dare you?
Says, there's no way this town can defend itself from these knights without your aid. Something Kadra was very quick to point out. So if I am to drop this investigation and let you out of here, do you agree to help the town?
Of course.
He looks at all of you. Are you all agreeing?
Yes.
Isabel is like pacing the cell like an agitated jungle cat.
I
She's-
promise to
ready.
do what's best for the town.
So first of all of you should have inspiration at this point.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen first. Everyone has inspiration. And then let's see.
Rock is
So-
going to fly down from her perch and land and look at Bajalin and be like, lying is a bad idea. This is what happens when people lie. And she kind of gestures to like, to indicate everything going on. And she goes, we'll protect the town.
Good. I'm assembling a force already. My niece, Ilaria, is bringing everyone together. So I'm hoping that we can all meet at my home this evening, or as soon as possible, really. So if you are able to come with me, I'll see to it that you are outfitted with your equipment again, and we can get this nasty business behind us.
This
What
needs
are
to
we
happen
going-
as quickly as possible. They
Yeah.
wanted to kill you all tonight and us tomorrow.
So you agree to help. There's just one other thing. I would like the past to be the past. Clean slate for all of us.
Well, the
I
town
join in.
No.
I
decide.
join in Isabel's laughter.
No, absolutely not. Because when this is all over, I'm going to break all of your hands. Both of them. Every single finger. As many joints as you have, that's how many breaks you get.
I stopped
Rock
laughing.
wants to take a very long look at Bajalin. How desperate is this man really?
Mm.
Make an insight check.
And I'll kind of, seeing that it's getting intense, I will kind of step in.
Isabel's ready to fuck up the deal.
Yeah, exactly. And I say, Isabel,
Right.
like,
Past is the past.
let us see where this heads, and let us get out of here before you cause more trouble.
Rock got
I'm
a
so
dirty-
mad.
Rock got a dirty 20.
He's quite desperate.
Okay.
More than he is letting on. He needs you if the town is to survive an uprising from the knights.
Rock will nod and then look at him and say, we don't forget the past. But what you do today and tomorrow can help what we will do in the future.
That'll have to be good enough. And he knocks on the door, and the door is opened, and he looks at Rosalie and says, they're free to go. All of them. And everyone, you see that your equipment is neatly stacked in this room in the house. You are able to get it back if you want to.
Rock's no longer
Definitely.
naked. Yay!
We're still taking the backpack.
Yeah, Gorf is sort of sliding along, but like a toothpaste tube that's been rolled up a little bit has like the backpack rolled up in the back end as he slowly makes his way, and there's like clinking and clattering
Like
as
an
he's
where he's like, screw, click, 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 screw.
And so yes, so you come out. you're able to get outfitted and everything again, and Bajalin invites you back to his home, where the village council is meeting, and Palmine is there, and Kadra is there, and the previously unintroduced Kalinis Birthwitch is there as well. Kalinis is a bit of a grizzled middle-aged man. He is wearing filthy clothes that are actually stained in the blood of animals, like he has been butchering them. And he has a long, unkempt beard and long, unkempt black hair that is, specked with gray sort of everywhere. Very salt and pepper, as it were.
Is his dog there too?
The Mastiff is not there.
Oh.
But the Mastiff
Oh.
yes, his dog is there, and it's at his
Got
feet.
him.
He's, they're all sitting around this cook fire that is essentially, Bajalin's house is a circle that has a second floor that is actually just a balcony that kind of goes around the inside of it, and there is a ladder that goes up, and he sleeps there. But then there's this common room that takes up a majority of this, it's a cozy little cabin basically, and there's a cook fire in the center, and then there's a hole in the ceiling that allows the smoke to go out. And everyone is gathered around this cook fire when you come in, and they are making plans to defend the city. And it looks like Bajalin has prepared everyone, and Palmine stands up and comes over and says, well, I'm hoping that at least for the next day or so, we can let bygones be bygones and put that all behind us.
Why is everyone so quick to forget the past? Just because we are focused on what's going on right now does not mean that I forget what happened. How many days ago was it? Like 2 days ago.
Oh, don't worry, dearie. My memory is long as well. I just want to know that you'll be focused on the task at hand for now.
Well, of course you are worried. You're the ones who are going to get killed if we do not.
Isabel looks at Rock and she's like, they're quick to forget the past because for some reason they're afraid to know what the taste of their own eyeballs is.
Is that the thing you know?
Yeah, I think everyone is confused and threatened. They feel threatened, but they feel very confused at that statement.
We retconned Isabel's alignment.
I'm sorry, I did retcon it, but I probably should again.
Ilaria is also there as well. And there are a few other people sort of standing around. They look to be the people that you would know in the town are competent hunters and fighters and that sort of thing.
I'm looking at left hands. What do I see?
So you see, as you come in and you're checking out left hands, you notice that most of the exposed hands look okay. Remember now, here in the Luna Valley, it used to be cold, right? But now it's very hot because of the comet strike and everything. So it is odd to you that Ilaria is wearing gloves on both of her hands.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
I mean, it's not totally unheard of for someone who might be in combat, right? To have gloves, but they're not like mailed gloves or anything. They're just cloth gloves that she is wearing on her hand.
Noted.
And so Palmine says, well, as long as we can all just agree to get along for now, it will be fine, and we can talk about the past in the future.
Indeed. Where, I mean, as much as we want to prepare for something, where are the knights staying? Would it be better for us to go to them?
So the knights have built a makeshift fort outside of Tomar's Crossing. They were quick to put it up. They have the support staff and everything that they were able to travel with. And because they were 24 knights, they protected them from bandits and a lot of the hardship that was coming there. So the knights have sort of a well-defended log area with like a low log fence and that sort of thing that you might see like in the Old West or in a temporary medieval fort, right? With a couple of logs set up at waist height, held up by other logs and that sort of thing. So that's where the knights are staying. They're one of the refugee camps outside of the fort.
Is it close to the other main refugee camp, or is it on its own at its separate place?
It's a little bit off on its own, but it is within, maybe 500 feet of the Safe Harbor camp. Since the knights were in Safe Harbor, they came from Safe Harbor.
Oh, okay.
So that's the idea. But they're separate, right? They're not part of that camp of normal non-knight people from Safe Harbor, which is very big.
And do we have anyone watching the camp right now to see in case they leave and come here? So we're warned.
Bajalin nods and says, I have some people there. Everyone else is either here or is at the borders of the town. I'm afraid even with you all, we're not that impressive of a force. Total, there's maybe like a dozen other fighters, it looks like, that would be ready to stand against the knights with the rest of you.
Rock
Yeah,
has a horrible idea.
Oh.
Yeah, I am a little concerned that we're all here in one place.
Rock has a horrible idea, and she has no charisma, so here it goes.
Oh.
So fighting is a bad idea. This fighting will only lead to everybody being dead. But the knights will only fight because they think we are divided, and they think that by slaughtering people, that they will get what they want. So we need to remove the reason that they want to slaughter people, which is you. We need, and she'll look at the council. We need you to step down, and we need to have a new election tonight.
I'm going to use an auto fail here.
I'm gonna use an auto success. I'm gonna combat.
Oh.
I'm gonna
Yes!
combat your auto fail.
Oh my
with
gosh.
my auto success. I have an auto success from
And then use your
SFP.
inspiration.
Well, we'll see if he makes me roll 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have an auto success from SF Heath, so I'm gonna use that to combat your auto fail.
Okay.
Rock will then look at like she'll say this to the council, and then she'll look at her friends and everybody else and say,
Whoa.
if the town is united with a new council, then even the knights cannot justify attacking. And if they do, then they are doing it in obvious wrong.
Make a persuasion check.
Well, I'll take my inspiration with my negative to persuasion.
I would also buy this as intimidation.
No, she doesn't intimidate. Not in this case.
No, I do. Oh no.
All right, well that's a 9.
Okay.
With inspiration, I rolled really bad.
Rock, how could you?
That she has horrible, awesome ideas and talks about them badly.
I did get that auto fail out of the way though, so I'm
Yes, it's true.
I'll take it.
take Thank you.
I've got another one. So
He gets one every game.
Bajalin and Paulmine and Kalinis all look at each other, and then they just burst out laughing. And they're like, okay, but seriously, we need some good ideas here. So let's hear some ones that don't involve stepping down.
If you guarantee voting rights to the refugees, we may be able to sway some of them to help fight or oppose the knights.
Yeah, right now they have.
And
no
also
stake
that
in
will
this
help
town.
Torsten later on when he runs for council because they like him.
Right? Yeah, definitely huge.
It's really
There-
a win-win for us.
Yeah.
The laughter dies immediately, and there's a grave silence. Like everyone knows you are right, Rain, when you say that, but at least 3 people don't want to admit it. But Kadra immediately speaks up and says, "He's right. He's absolutely right. Those people should have the right to vote anyway, as it is."
You phrase it as uniting the town after the terrible tragedies that have just happened.
You can see the council all looking at each other, and like, again, they're having this mental conversation.
Literally? Arcana check.
It's more like when married people look at each other.
There's a lot of meaningful glances. It's very
Right, exactly. It is not. There is nothing magical or psionic about it, but they do seem to be having that silent conversation. And Pauline looks at you all and says, "Well, that's something that might be arranged. We could certainly see about getting some voting rights if we could guarantee that they will fight for us."
Well, they will not fight if they have no stake in the town. So unless they have stake in the town, they will definitely not fight.
Yeah, it goes
Exactly.
voting rights, then fighting, not the other way around.
Yeah, we barely have stake in the town. I mean, no, let's do it. That's
so
all
make-
Tika got us
Or
about.
I will take my tent and go back to Fort Kickass.
Yeah.
If you agree that whoever defends the town tonight in whatever capacity they're able to can vote, I think we can get people on our side.
That seems like a fair deal. Service for voting.
But that has to also include the families of those who serve. Not everyone is old enough to serve,
Yeah.
or some are injured, or some are going to be support people who will help by like sharpening weapons and things. You can't just
we'll figure out loopholes for everybody. Don't worry. Here, you have a stick. You're a fighter.
Yes,
Rock
yes.
is all about the like.
If people
Contract.
are
Rock's
too
ready.
Yeah.
old or ill or frail to fight in some way, but they have family members or caretakers who are able to do so, then we will see to it that perhaps they also get the right to vote. We will make sure that the process is fair. And she looks at Kadra, and Kadra nods. And you can see that Bajalin and Kalinis are sitting there with their arms crossed.
What's my read
What
on
about this
Kalinis?
now?
I've heard sort of talk. What is he like? Grumpy looking? Is he like Bajalian
Yeah.
Jr.? I want to see where
Does
he's
he look
coming
like a dude
from.
who would murder another council member and leave her body in the
Yeah.
forest?
Ooh, that's a good point.
He seems humorless,
Hmm.
and he is watching Bajalin very closely. You can make an insight check if you want to learn
Like in
anything
a
more.
I
sexy
would.
way?
I would like to make an insight check. I have rolled
Could be a sexy way.
19.
I will also. I want to see if it's a sexy way. No, I'm just kidding. But I will do insight. Oh no, that's cool. I guess I won't. That's fine. Isabel's too mad.
It is not a sexy way, Rain. It is a
Oh.
way in which, though, that Bajalin definitely has something on Kalinis, and
Yeah.
Kalinis is waiting. He's waiting to see how Bajalin votes, and will vote with Bajalin.
Interesting. What?
And-
It's cat.
And that's surprising.
Hmm.
Has Rain pointed out Ilaria's gloves to anyone?
No.
No reason.
I don't think I might have like
That's for the
kind of
best.
elbowed you gently and kind of like
Really?
done one of these like look, Isabel, because I know that
Isabel is like, if you have done that, Isabel is like
Yes, I have.
gently sidling over to that edge of the room.
Do I notice this? Do I notice any of this?
Sure, make a perception check.
Okay.
Isabel, make a
I
stealth
did not.
check.
I'm too involved.
That's a
I'm not
natural 20!
super-
Oh!
Yay!
Oh, okay.
Natural
So,
20 check on
so
another.
I
natural
noticed your
20.
I also made a nat 20 on my stuff.
Ah!
Okay,
All
so
right, so that
two
means
things.
we're giving away some PDFs. One will be a copy of this level 1 through 20 adventure. Rudy, if people are in the
Sure.
Don't Split the Podcast Network chat, what code can they enter to get a chance to win a free PDF?
Exclamation point Cyber Tuesday.
Nice! Exclamation point Cyber Tuesday, all one word. Rudy has just demonstrated in the chat for you. So check that out. Go ahead and put that in. You'll have a chance to win at the end of the episode. And we will say, Rock.
I will say, with a natural 20, my perception check is a 29.
Gotcha. Isabel, I assume, what is your stealth?
My stealth was a nat 20, but I don't have any modifiers to it, so it's just
Gotcha.
20.
So
you're
you are
really
being
good. I'm just
Yeah.
better.
exactly. You totally see that Isabel is sliding over to try to get next.
And did I notice the rain? Did I notice rain like motion?
Yeah, you noticed the gloves. You noticed Rain checking it out. And mentioning to Isabel, you noticed the whole kit and caboodle, the whole B
Awesome.
plot that's going on in
Things
this
are
room.
going poorly.
Yeah. Rock is gonna spend a moment and be really impressed that Isabel can be that stealthy in a room full of people wearing heavy armor. And then
You are correct. Do I get disadvantage?
You would, but we're all good already.
Okay.
So
I'm not. No, like I didn't mean to call you out like
No,
that. I mean,
it's
like,
fine. I just
she's
like
good.
thought of that. I was like, oh,
it's okay. We've already promised 2 PDFs, so we'll still give 2 away.
And then she will continue to stand there and do nothing.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
She just
All
likes watching, but she will like knowing she might also be at the ready for shit to go down.
Gotcha. So you see Bajalin is looking at Kalinis and everything. I need any member of your party to make a persuasion check with advantage at the moment, because you are all helping each other out and arguing to sway these.
I'll take this one.
Yeah, no, not
Yeah.
Rock. She's too
I'm-
busy side-eyeing Isabel.
I am
Alright.
admittedly not focused on that at all, so I won't roll.
I rolled a 19 plus 4, so 20
Oh, thank goodness. I was
Okay.
like, dang, but I'm
plus 5,
proficient
sorry,
in
24.
persuasion.
Wow. So you see Bajalin says, fine. It's in the best interest of Tomar's Crossing. And so I think we should extend that right to everyone. And at that moment, there's a knock on the door, and some of the Skull Cleaver enters, and he has Hubert Greyborn with him, along with Nibbin Blondebeard, Jesper Clocker, and everyone's favorite, Katika LeBlorn. And they enter, and the village council starts talking with them about the deal that's going on, and it seems like they are very, very appreciative. The leaders of the refugees are very appreciative of the deal. The sun is getting lower in the sky as this conversation is going on,
Yeah,
and Isabel
Rock,
is creeping
Oh,
around.
I want to creep around from the other side of
Okay.
towards
Alright.
towards Ilaria.
Can I check some insight on Ilaria when Selmoth comes in the room?
Sure.
It's my absolute favorite. 15.
Okay. And Rudy, make me a stealth check as well.
Okay. Oh wow, I'm super good at this. 22.
Yeah, I was gonna say monks are generally pretty great. So yeah, Rudy, you're also moving like a minx. Yes, Rock.
Okay, so all these awesome people are going to walk into this room and talking is going to happen. And Rock notices her friends sliding up along Ilaria. And she's going to have a moment in where she flashes back a couple days ago to a fireball that went off and have a freak out about what might happen to all these awesome people in one room. And she's going to loudly say, I'm going to go make sure that everything is okay. And she's going to leave and she's going to go perch on top of the building and take a look out for like spies or enemies or anybody that might be, because she suddenly is having bad memories of fireballs.
Okay, nice. Make me another perception check while you are out there.
Okay.
Oh, do you go
On top
straight
of
up inside the building because there's a hole in the center on the top?
Is there?
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
that's
Then
like-
she's
there's
going to
something.
announce she's going to go be sentry and boom, just fly straight up.
Cool.
And yeah.
okay,
get out.
go for it.
That's a 23.
Okay, great. So we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Back in the house.
I just wanted to do that before all this shit goes down.
Yeah,
I,
right. Of course.
she wouldn't leave if shit happens.
So, Torsten, you're part of this conversation. Summoth makes sure that you're involved, and you're a big part of like closing all of the loopholes everybody was worried about too, in this conversation, and making sure that the refugees are able to vote. And the refugees are like coming around and clapping you on the back, and you're sort of speaking for them in these negotiations, which are more or less already settled. It's just working out the finer details at this point and making and then an action plan of like, how do we spread the word? How do we make sure that, yada, yada, all that kind of thing is the logistics are being planned out. And the other folks are sneaking around. You are both able to, around the same time, you get on either side of Ilaria Walrus, everyone's favorite NPC. What is your plan here?
Isabel is gonna old lady loop her arm through Ilaria's arm and like do that church lady thing where like you lock that arm and then you put like your hand on top of that arm. And it's like, sure, make a scene, I guess. What did my 15 in insight say whenever Samath walked in the room? Has Ilaria reacted in any way?
So it didn't seem like Ilaria reacted one way or the other, but a few of the people she commands seem to have a visible, uncomfortable reaction. They stood up a little straighter, crossed their arms over their chest, that sort of thing.
Okay.
A defensive reaction.
And they are near her?
They are.
Oh, yes. Excellent. Isabel will flash them a winning smile, and then she'll just look back at Ilaria and Ilaria, it is so good to see you after those harrowing days that we spent in that ziggurat. Do you remember?
I do. I was there longer than you were surviving.
Yes.
It was
of
difficult.
Course. And then we were there only a short time rescuing you. Do you remember that?
Yes, I am very grateful for that.
I can tell how grateful you are. I was hoping that I would never come to regret it.
I don't think you will. Today we fight together as we did in the ziggurat, and I will stand by your side.
I really appreciate that. Those are beautiful gloves.
Beautiful gloves, I say from the other side.
Just the darkness talks
right,
behind.
yeah. There's there's like a whoa, you were standing over there kind of moment.
Isabel like holds firm, and so when Ilaria jumps a little bit, like she has like a small like smile of satisfaction.
And Ilaria says, "Yes, they are. If you'll excuse me," and she tries to get out of your grasp. Are you going to let her?
I'm going to slowly let her slowly release on her arm, a little bit of pressure at a time, and I will as her hand is slipping out of Isabel's hand, I'll just squeeze it real quick and Ilaria, what time do you have dinner?
When the sun is setting, usually, if I am able to.
I would love to pay you a visit while you're having dinner when this is all over.
Make an insight check.
14.
She is in more pain than she should be as you are gripping her hand.
And I'll just squeeze it like one last like lingering time and just say, I hope you have a splendid rest of your night, and I will see you as soon as this is all over.
We'll have stew. Or would that be too obvious? I'm not there, sorry.
And then she'll like let her hand go and say, oh, and would you like a card? I have a matchmaker service, you know.
And she says, no, I'm fine in that department, thank you.
I'm glad to hear it.
And she comes out. Rock, you are on top of the roof and looking out, and you can see it does look like in the Knights camp they are getting ready for something. They are loading up the couple of horses that they have with their barding and that sort of thing. Now, the Knights are known for doing drills, and so it doesn't seem necessarily suspicious that this is going on, but you can see that looks like they're getting ready for a drill as they armor themselves and their horses up.
But I know they had said they were going to try to kill the council tonight and then us tomorrow. So yeah, they may be trying to pretend it's a drill, but they've already said so. Does it look like they're getting ready to leave, or does it look like they're boarding things up and getting ready for an attack?
It looks like they're getting ready to leave.
Okay.
You also see a halfling tearing across, like running, sprinting through town on his way in the direction of the camp. Looks like moving
Which camp?
urgently with purpose towards the Knights camp. So looks like moving from town to camp in the direction of leaving from the direction of the windmill on his way.
Do I recognize this halfling?
You probably do not. You've seen the halfling around town before, and you would know that the halfling is a moonshiner named Old Deuce Merrygood. Sells moonshine. That's really all you know about him.
All right. And he's booking it for the Knights.
He's booking it towards the Knights.
Okay. Rock is going to poke her head back down the hole. And
there's one other thing that you notice.
Oh, okay. She's going to start to and then go, oh, what's that?
Which is a sound. So you start to poke your head out and you hear Ilaria outside whispering, but your keen Aarakocra ears catch that she is talking to a few of her people who have come outside with her and says, we need to make sure that the heroes of Fort Frostfell die heroically tonight.
Okay. Rock, in her infinite wisdom, which is awesome, and charisma, which is awful, will poke her head through the hole down at everybody else that's still inside. And she's going to say, there's the halfling running towards where the knights are, and I think the knights are getting ready to come out and do bad things. And also, Ilaria wants us all to die heroically tonight.
I knocked something over.
She's just going to shout it so that everybody can hear. Probably also Ilaria, since she's going to say it very loudly. But she's going to
This is not my fault. She was probably wanting us to die anyway. It's fine.
What are you going to knock over?
A chair or something. A table.
To what effect?
Outrage. And I'm going to scream, what is this, Magellan? Double-crossing us already, huh?
And Magellan says, no, I have been here talking with you. Oh, sorry, that's Pauline. Magellan says, I've been here talking with you the whole time. There's, I am not sure, but I know that you, and he points at Isabel, made Ilaria uncomfortable just now. What did you do?
I just offered her a matchmaking card. I don't understand.
Do you want me to do something about crazy halfling going towards the evil people?
We should probably focus on the thing that matters.
Also, not dying heroically. I'd like to not die. Yeah. And Rock will stick her head up and wants to, like, it's been now a moment or two. Where's this halfling? And is he still booking it?
He's almost at the edge of the village now, which is not super far away because, again, it's a village of 150 people, so it's not an enormous village.
Yeah. How far away is that from the knights?
The knights are sort of very close to the edge there, and that is Bajalin says, I don't know. Stop him, I guess. I'm not sure.
Rock is about to leave because that's what she was thinking. Bajalin says this, and she has this moment of, oh, I don't want to take orders from him. Yeah, I'm gonna go anyway. And yeah, she's gonna use her entire flying speed to intercept halfling. And
okay,
she'd like to land like in front of him, like, oh hi, what are you doing?
When you land in front of him, he stops short and says, Hi. So it's true. They let you out then, huh?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I was on my way. I'll let the knights know the news. The investigation can stop. Because you're out. And that is when you hear behind you a lot of scrabbling and like shouting and that sort of thing. And it looks like the knights are like doubling their efforts to get ready.
Okay.
Uh,
I'll look back at this halfling and I'll say, yes, and also all the refugees have voting rights now, and so we're all one big happy family. And she'll give this halfling a very pointed look.
You can make an insight check.
I
Come
would
on.
love to. Rock
Man,
would like to
insight is the most used skill of this.
It's
Yeah.
a night for insight.
I might happen to be an inquisitor. So that's a 17.
Sure. Okay. He is uncomfortable and wants to get to the knights as soon as possible.
All right. Do I think that's because I'm a bird person, or do I think that's because like
You're a
shit's
criminal
about
who
to?
just got
Yeah,
let out of
shit.
jail.
I did just like drop out of the sky and be like, "Hi, who are you? What are you doing?"
Sure,
Do I
which
think it's because of
surprised
that?
him.
Yeah, or do I
But-
think it's because like, oh, shit's about to go down and he's trying to get paid, get out of the way, that kind of thing.
The second. Something is going on that he wants to let the knights know.
Oh no.
Okay,
Treachery.
random halfling treachery. Ah,
In this campaign.
Rock will peer him closely and say, "So the council will let them know in the morning. Why do you care?"
And he says, well, I think they already know. And he points at the camp, and you can see that there are like knights shouting and pointing at you.
Yeah.
And getting ready. And he says, it's important that I be the one to let them know. Otherwise, Sir Brenniform will be very, very angry with me.
Do he threaten you?
Make a persuasion check.
I rolled a 15, so that is a 13. I will say she's not necessarily trying to persuade him to talk, but
Sure.
she is keenly looking to see if and when he answers if he's lying.
Sure. He says, look, if I were you,
I
would fly as far away from here as fast as I can right now. Terrible things are about to happen, and the only safe place is in the camp with those knights.
Is terrible things coming from the knights or terrible things coming from somewhere else?
From the knights.
Well, then you don't want to be in with the knights. They are doing terrible things.
It's the only way to stay protected. And then he like pushes by you and starts running. Very clearly not lying to you.
Okay.
when he-
Rock will immediately fly back towards the yurt everybody's hanging out in.
Okay,
kill
so
him.
meanwhile, back at the yurt, while this is going on and Rock is flying around, Alaria pokes her head in and says, that fucking bird is flying around. The knights are going to know that we let the prisoners out, and they're going to move up their timetable. Everybody haul ass now. And she like claps her hands, and the warriors that are inside there follow her and start running out of the place.
Where are we running to?
It looks like they are making their way towards the edge of town closest to the Knights' camp.
What's the plan exactly?
We're just gonna have to face them somehow.
I guess.
I say we let her handle it.
The
Handle
refugee
it, get it,
leaders.
handle it. Ah!
Well, like I need to go over some stuff. Come to Jesus, come to Eldath meeting.
The refugee leaders look around, and Summith says, our horses are outside. Ride to your people as quickly as they can and tell them to meet us right outside of the camp where the Order of the Last Bastion Knights are. And so the refugee leaders like make their way out and start riding off to tell their people where they should go and what they should do.
How many horses do the Last Bastion have? How many of them will be mounted?
It's not something that anyone has an exact number on,
Okay.
but they imagine there are at least a dozen horses in the camp.
Okay. So what is the council doing? Are they Ilaria and her soldiers have run out?
They're looking at you.
Okay.
Ugh.
Yeah, we need to go confront them before they come into town.
Okay.
Do we have-
Yeah.
yes, we do. We do have.
Just if Ilaria tries anything funny, then I'm not gonna let her off easy. I say, Bajelin.
And he says, if Ilaria tries anything funny, that's her own doing, and I have nothing to do with it.
Okay. Just letting you know.
Just letting you know.
Okay.
Every single
God.
bone in your hand, I say, and I run out.
I'm so ready.
Okay. Does everybody else run out as well?
Yeah.
I'm waiting to arrive.
Yeah. So, Rock, as you're coming in, you see this flood of people coming out of Bajalin's house, including your friends.
Okay.
Making
Then
their
I'll
way.
I'll start shouting that the Aldris Marygood is going to sell us out, and they know that we are out, and he thinks everything is going to go bad.
And at that moment, you see the crowd from the
Oh
windmill
no.
has started to make their way down the street towards.
They were
Bajalin.
just hanging out at the windmill, like we got out, and they're just like still pitchforks and.
Yeah.
It took a little while to break up. You think like
Yeah.
maybe they were having a good time. Not much to do these days. at
Good
Stonewar's
time.
Crossing.
It's a windmill and a beer garden, so
Yeah, there you go.
Like kind of a block party, unofficial
Yeah.
block party broke out.
it's a rustic bed and breakfast as
So
well.
as they are approaching, Torsten will kind of head them off to make sure they don't do anything stupider than we're gonna ask them to do, and kind of tell them what the situation is now.
Oh, okay. And they're all looking at each other, sort of terrified. And then someone stands up and says, "How can I help?"
Get a sword if you have one, or any other weapons and armor. We need to confront these knights one way or the other.
It's mainly
Hopefully-
posturing, I say.
Hopefully, only with words.
Yeah.
And they all look at each other and they say, all right. Well, you heard the man. Let's go. And the people disperse, and some of them may already have what they are armed with on them, like a sword strapped at their side or that sort of thing. And they start walking with you towards this area at the front of town. And when you get there, the knights are all lining up on their horses. And you can see the town is making a super strong showing. And there are refugees and stuff still piling in. And the town, that the people who are there part to make way for the four of you and Gorf to stand at the front of the line.
About how many, like, so we got about 25 knights on one side, and like how many of the town and the refugees and everybody have shown up so far?
So at this point, it looks like maybe there's like a good 100 people so far who have shown up, which is very impressive. Now, not all of them cut an impressive fighter figure, but they're a crowd for sure. So you come to the front of the line, and that is when Sir Breniform Steelcrest strides up. He's on this white stallion. His hair is flowing back as he's in his plate armor. And he says, "Survivors of the Luna Valley, I am Sir Breniform Steelcrest, and I am here to save you from the corrupt village council of Tomar's Crossing. They care only for themselves. They care only about their power, and they are covering up the worst crimes of all. Crimes against all of you. The Order of the Last Bastion Knights have taken an oath to protect all of you, to root out corruption, to end the tyranny of corrupt leaders like your village council, like Bajalin, like Palmine, like Kalinis, like Kadra Tourmaline. These past few days, things have been in flux. They refuse to give the refugees who are outside their walls the right to vote. And then someone yells, "That's not true!" And he stumbles a little bit.
Is that person Grant Ellington?
Yeah. It is great. I can vote now.
No, not you. You're a felon.
No, but I restored my voting rights. It's thanks to Amendment 4 passed in the last election, so now that I'm free, I can vote. And
That's the law. That's just science.
So there, and he, that's when Sir Breniform Steelcrest says, "It doesn't matter. Stand with us, stand with the knights, and we will see that order is restored. We will make sure everyone has something to eat, and we will make sure that all of you are safe from the horrors of this valley, and we will rebuild and we will reclaim this home, and we will not sit around like the village council. Are you with me?"
Torsten will kind of step forward and say, "We've not been sitting around. We have freed Fort Frostfell. We have freed whatever the name of the other place was that we went.
Right.
We've brought people back. We've brought food back. What have you been doing?" And I say, we're providing for our own people. Now you can see the town is united. The town has voting rights. Those who are new, we are already making this a new place."
That is actually a really good question, because I feel like for some reason this guy's been here a while. And we only heard about him like 2 episodes ago.
Right?
Very good point.
Where were
not-
you?
We do not need your help, nor want it. We will govern ourselves. We do not need to be governed by the tyranny of supposed honorable knights who would do such a thing as to kill the town council.
Yes, and I step forward and I say, "And if the council is corrupt, which they may or may not be, we're having elections shortly, so we can elect new council members. If you wish to have influence, then you should run yourself." Like
And
Torsten,
he
he's
said-
running, for example.
Isabel hands out some Torsten
Yeah,
council
leaflets.
Right there. Signs start popping up everywhere. It's one of those things that you see at the car wash, but it looks like Torsten shaking around.
It's casting cure wounds, so it's got like little streamers.
Horrible.
That is when Sir Breniform Steelcrest says, "Oh, funny you should bring up killing the town council, Rain. After all, wasn't it you who made sure that Councilwoman Bresson Furgood was laid to rest by your hand? Our investigation concluded that you strangled her to death, and your 4 friends here, including the prospective counselor, Torsten, helped cover it up. How
She's gone for
honorable
months.
are you? How
She's been
could
gone
these
for weeks and weeks. If you decided that she was recently killed, you are insane.
All right, so
Yeah, when
This
did
is
we
what
have
I
time to
need.
murder someone between all of these like people
I've
we
been
were rescuing?
I've been gone for a while.
go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage, Robert, and I'm going to make one with disadvantage.
All right. So it's a 21.
Awesome.
Okay,
You didn't even need my pamphlets.
yeah, that
They help. They help.
beats my 6.
He's just not beautiful enough.
So all of the
The hair
people
flew into his face and it gave him disadvantage.
are cheering the heroes of Fort Frostfell. They're like, yeah, they're like, Torsten, Rain, Rock, and Isabel. Torsten, Rain, Rock, and Isabel. And chanting that. And it's very clear that the knights have no foothold here.
Oh, no.
Even to the knights themselves.
Is there a knight who's chanting?
Ooh.
There are no knights who are chanting,
Aw.
but the knights look nervous
One's like
and they're
tapping his foot a little.
looking to Sir Breniform Steelcrest, and he says, "I will not have murderers running this town. And he lowers his horse, and they go into a charge at all of you. Let's roll initiative.
Oh,
Wow.
Wait, charges are really bad.
We're about to butcher some innocent people. How?
Yeah.
no. There's a lot of people who are about to be unhappy.
Okay.
Rock got a 15.
Person got a 17.
Rain has a 14.
With Isabel's +5 initiative, Isabel got a 7.
Oh, alert.
She's busy.
And now leaflets, yeah.
Yeah.
It worked, didn't it?
Oh, hang on.
You're
Let me roll for
welcome.
Gorf.
Roll for Gorf, please.
Yes,
Four.
roll for
Gorf
Gorf.
has a knife wrapped in his tassels.
Ilaria
Just
better
swinging
not
around.
have an initiative because I'm gonna choke her out. I'm ready. I haven't punched an innocent person in like 2 episodes.
Okay. And sorry, it's not. I just searched rug in D&D Beyond.
Rug of strangling.
Yeah, it is.
It's a rug of smothering. I
Smothering.
guess?
Oh,
Yeah.
smothering.
Yeah.
I think it's like a difference in fiber content.
Yep, it is.
Gorf
yeah,
has a
he's,
much higher thread count.
yeah. Well, he's a polyester blend because that's better for
Oh.
smothering people.
Oh, okay.
Less
Mhm.
breathable, as it
Yeah.
were.
It's heavier. It's like a duvet as opposed to like a rug that's a little bit more like a scarf.
Listen, when we get him fixed with the new symbol, it's going to be all natural fiber cotton. Very nice.
Torsten, it is your turn.
As soon as they are kind of running forward, I will shout at people. Especially if there are like anyone that maybe shouldn't be here in combat, like to get those people away, or like if there's some older people or whatever. But then I will turn and I say, I shout out, Eldath does not want us to fight each other and hurt each other, and I will cast sleep on their horses if I can.
Ooh.
Ah, nice. That's a power move. Go ahead.
As I'll use one of my 2nd level spell slots for that one. Let's see. It's gonna take a minute. Oh, I got 2 dice here.
Okay.
Wow, 20, 29.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh wow, 50 points of hit points.
Nice.
Oh man.
That's a fair number of horses.
It is. You see, let's see. 3 of the horses go down. Including the one in front, Sir Breniform Steelcrest horse, goes down. So let's see. Hang on a second. Got some knights.
And by go down, you mean they just kind of very
Asleep.
gently lay down and roll over, and the horses are 100% fine.
Yes, please say
Yeah.
that. I don't want a Braveheart scene. please.
So,
Yeah. I'm just going
yeah.
to sleep.
So
Okay.
absolutely that like the horses are just slumbering. But the knights themselves that get thrown off these
That's
horses
fine.
that are charging into battle are not.
don't
Okay,
care
we
about
only
that.
care about the horses.
Yeah, I just like I don't want any of the horses to like skin their knees or anything like that. I just want them to like stop and then like gently lay down on their
Yep.
sides,
No horses were harmed in the making of
out
this
of the
movie.
way of other charging horses.
So yeah. Yeah, they gently throw their riders and go to sleep, as it were, while this is going on. So Torsten, it is you see Sir Breniform Steelcrest is prone on the ground, his horse asleep. He spends his turn getting out of the stirrups and getting up and that sort of thing. It takes him a while, given how his horse has gently collapsed on top of him and in the stirrups.
Snoring slightly.
I've been drilled on him.
So, Rock, it is your turn.
Oh, okay. So 3 of these charging knights are having issues. Is everyone else charging? Are some of these knights maybe not happy with this decision? Or some of them staying, like, what's the
It looks like at the moment all of the knights are charging. So there were about a dozen on horseback and the other dozen are charging in on foot.
Great. That's exciting. Rock is going to do something dumb. Rock is pulling out 2 daggers. Are there knights who are charging towards any of the refugees?
It looks like the whole line is charging towards you. So yes.
Okay. She's specifically going to go after 1 or 2 not horses, but give me a second. She's going to go after 2 horses that look like they're charging towards some of the refugees. Maybe one of the ones she knows has been staying in her tent or with Hubert Greyborn. She's going to try to swoop past 2 charging horses and slice the straps that hold on the saddles.
Okay. Go ahead.
So here we go. Here's that's a 23 for the first.
Mm-hmm.
And I will actually use my bonus action to take a second attack. If I cut through one of them, then my bonus action will be to cut through a different one, and that'll be a 19 to hit.
Okay. So yeah, both of those will hit.
Okay. So I'm probably not getting sneak attack on either of these, but it's just a strap. So that's 5 damage on the first and 6 damage on the second.
Okay. Yeah, the straps go out, and again, you see some knights tumble off horses here.
Okay. And then she'll swoop back around to be near people, her people.
Okay. Yeah, so these knives come out. You see a saddle go sideways, and a knight falls off it, and then another saddle goes sideways, and another knight falls off, and they hit the ground.
Excellent. I'm gonna be unusually pleased with myself for that one.
I do like the how much we care about horses.
None of these horses better be Dusk either, or I'm riding.
Right.
I'll burn this whole place to the ground.
No, Dusk is your horse.
Dusk is loyal
he
to
has
us.
not joined.
My horse,
this
yes.
side.
Never join in
You
a
have
charge.
a rug. You have a killer
I will
rug.
trade you in a
When I
heartbeat.
said your, I meant you, plural.
Thank
I
you.
mean, did you or did you mean that Rain has a murder rug?
So, Rock, it is your turn.
Rock just went.
That was just me. I just sliced.
No,
and...
he says you get 2 turns. It's fine.
Okay, for my second turn, I'd like to do it again. I'd like 2 more
Oh.
horses.
I'm sorry. Yes, Rain,
Thanks.
it is your turn. Thank you.
Is
No. That's fine.
Is Bajalin here or no?
Bajalin is here at the back of the line,
Okay.
back of the company.
Have the knights reached any of the people yet?
They have not.
All right. I'm gonna run forward, and I'm going to. I want to hit Sir Steel Cleft.
You'd be able to make it to him in a move and
Yeah.
punch him if you want.
So I want to use my ability Stunning Strike and try and take him like prisoner.
Okay.
So that's my plan. And I will go to hit him. 23.
Okay. 23 is a hit.
Okay. So then I spend a key point, and he needs to make a con saving throw.
Okay.
And I'm just using my fists, not like a weapon.
So he got an 11, so I'm assuming that fails.
It just says on a Constitution saving throw. It doesn't say.
So the DC for monks would be
my
your
monk
8
level.
plus your proficiency bonus plus your wisdom
Okay,
modifier.
then yeah, that would be.
So 11 plus your wisdom modifier.
So, yeah.
in your case.
That would be just enough.
Okay.
Okay, so he's stunned now,
Okay.
and which means he loses his turn.
So
He's
yes,
stunned in
that is
5.
what it means. It also means you have advantage to attack him.
Okay,
if you want,
and I just
for
I'm gonna
attacks.
pick him up and grab him and.
How much damage did you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did 10
attack him?
damage as well.
Okay, cool.
And I get 2 attacks. Can I use my second attack to disarm him? Is disarm?
I mean, you could just pull.
Oh, yeah, I guess
yeah,
since
you
he's
could use an
stunned.
attack to pull the sword out of his hand
Yeah,
if you want.
And I say, stand down. Stand down immediately. There needs to be no bloodshed here. And I pull out a dagger and put it in his throat. Just to make it clear.
All right, and that is where we will end this session of the Demonplague. We will get the
Right
answer.
now, the Night Plague. That's what's going on.
That's right.
Yeah.
From Sir Breniform Steelcrest when we return.
Yeah.
But this was excellent. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Yeah,
We
great
do need to do some giveaways. So if you're just joining us, we rolled 2 natural 20s. It means we're giving away a PDF of the Demonplague, this level 1 through 20 adventure. And you can enter the giveaway, and we will give the results after we tell you where you can find us and stuff by entering !Cyber Monday. That's all one word, ! Cyber Monday. So enter that right now in the Don't Split the Podcast Network Twitch chat, and you will be able to win a copy of that. And we may give away a second PDF if enough people enter. So far, I've seen no one enter.
Yeah.
So maybe there's too many of you who have won already, and we need to think of something else. But
Too many natural 20s.
Too many natural 20s, exactly. So odds are, if you enter, you've got a good chance of winning right now. So !
Cyber Tuesday.
Cyber Tuesday. Sorry, Cyber Tuesday, not Cyber Monday.
Yeah, Cyber Tuesday.
My fault. Cyber Tuesday. So go ahead, enter that. And while we do that, where can people find you, Lauren?
Hi, I'm Lauren Urban. I go by Crazy Online. You can find me as the community manager for D&D Beyond. Sing the theme song. We love it. You can also find me this weekend at PAX Unplugged, probably singing the theme song. I'm participating in a panel on Saturday. I'm doing the roleplay roulette panel, which basically means I'm going to play D&D and not know who I'm playing as. So come see that happen. You can also hear me as the DM for Dungeon Drunks, which is a podcast that comes out on Monday, wherever fine podcasts are sold. And starting tomorrow, so Clerical Error is over. It was a lot of fun, and I loved it very much.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
But apparently, I really like playing D&D on Wednesdays from 2 to 4 on one of the channels. It's going to be actually on the D&D Beyond channels. I'm playing in Heroes of the Veil, which is starting up tomorrow, 2:00 Pacific on the D&D Beyond Twitch channel. So come see that and come cheer us all on. I'm excited to have a Dragonborn cleric, because maybe after this game, I thought it might be a good idea to heal people for reasons. For reasons. But yes, if you are at PAX Unplugged, definitely, if you see me, come say hi. I go to cons to talk to people, so come talk to me.
Excellent. That is awesome. And Robert, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Radu76. That's RADDU76. On Facebook, you can find me in the big D&D 5th edition group. Come chat with me and 130,000 other D&D fans. And also, you can hear me on the Bone, Stone, and Obsidian podcast. If you listen to that, it's a Dark Sun podcast. We just interviewed one of the co-creators, Troy Denning, in the first part of a 2-part episode. So go give that a listen.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And where can people find you, TK?
It's me, it's TK. All right, spooky stories on the internet. If you like spooky stories and you don't really like paying for them that much, you can go to my website, tkjwrites.com, read some for free. It'll be fun. You can go on Twitter, TK Joins the Fray. On Tuesdays, I'm here. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm on the WebDM Twitch channel. Fridays, I write articles for Tabletop Tests about tips for like new DMs and stuff. This week we're going to talk about how to use inclement weather and difficult terrain as dangerous alternatives to just random monster encounters. So you can still make traveling hard and dangerous for your party without having to throw like 30 goblins at them. I will not be at PAX Unplugged, but I have a surprise waiting for you if you are going to PAX Unplugged. Look around for some errant Taroka cards that are part of a new project that I'm working on with Lisa Chen, Kayla Klein, Hadil Al-Masari, and Ashley Warren for Miss Tales D&D on Twitter. It'll be fun. Great little scavenger hunt. All of those Taroka cards are PAX Unplugged exclusive. You will not be able to get them anywhere else.
That's exciting.
Also, buy my book. That's it.
Awesome. And Rudy, where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Rudy Basso. Go to don'tsplitthepodcastnetwork.com for a ton of great podcasts, some of which feature myself, some of which feature James Introcaso. Lots of them do, in fact. So, James is great. Listen to the podcast with James.
Woo!
I'll be at PAX Unplugged with James. We'll be walking around, playing games. Say hello to us. Yeah, we don't really have anything planned, so if you see us, say hey. Maybe we'll sit down and play something with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to bring a backpack full of games, short and long, so that we can hang and play. And I am at don'tsplitthepodcastnetwork.com, as Rudy said, and you can also find me on worldbuilderblock.com and at twitter.com/James Introcaso. Now, people, it's time to do a giveaway, because we do have some entrants. So let's see. First giveaway, who will win a copy of the Demonplague PDF? Let's tell us, please.
Here we go.
Magical bot. Here we go.
Kika has won. Congratulations to Kika.
Hey! Excellent. Thank you so much, Kika. That is incredible. So, Kika, we will be messaging you to get your email and your name so that we can send you a copy of the Demonplague via PDF. It's a level 1 through 20 adventure. There are so many pages, and you can buy it right now at roleplayingtips.com/Demonplague or on DriveThruRPG. You can get it in print. You can get it in PDF form. You can get it in all kinds of crazy ways. I guess I should be saying that more often, too. This thing we're playing through, you can actually go buy. And now we will give away a copy of the DM's Guild classic silver bestseller, Invasion from the Planet of Tarrasques. Rudy, tell us who will win.
The new adventure that you wrote? Or
it is.
Star Rider 1026.
Yes, Star Rider. So we'll be messaging you to get your email so we can send you via the DM's Guild a copy of Invasion from the Planet of Tarrasques. Exciting. A level 20 adventure where you fight multiple Tarrasques. Who doesn't want that? So everyone who's going to PAX Unplugged, we will see you this week. If not, we will see you next week right here for more Demonplague. In the meantime,
smash that follow.
Smash that follow button. Right up there. There's so many things to remember. Right up there. And don't let the demons bite, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye. Oh, still live.